Cloudflare, the global internet outage. So this is global. And if you saw the thumbnail, people that have been trying to log in to different websites that are hosted by Cloudflare have not been able to get in. Now, it looks like they've fixed most of the problems, but let's talk about what actually caused it. And hey, everybody, I'm Rex Bear. How the heck are you? Beautiful day today out here in Southern Colorado. I hope you're doing fantastic. And thank you very much for spending your time here with me. Let's get into this right now, actually. And, you know, it's interesting because so I've been doing Leak Project now for over 10 years. And we've gone from, you know, pretty fringe conspiratorial to we're just following the facts. We're following the data. We're going to go where the data takes us. And I'm looking at the mainstream news now, and I'm reading these headlines from the mainstream news, like Newsweek as an example. And they've turned into more conspiratorial websites than the alternative guys and gals used to be. It's fascinating. It's like the world is just constantly changing, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. And I'm so glad that you're here with me. So this article that I pulled up today from Newsweek, this is from Newsweek. Check this out. This is wow. Wow. Here we go. Cloudflare outage before Epstein files vote sparks conspiracy theories. Read all about it. Newsweek. We've also got information from the Internet Outages Map, and which is Thousand Eyes. You can go to thousandeyes.com. There's other websites you can go to see where these outages have taken place. But when I pulled up this Newsweek article, I was like, wow, they've been taking notes from the conspiracy guys. Now, this is from Tom's Guide. This just came out shortly as well, about an hour ago. Cloudflare was down. Live updates, huge chunk of internet taken down by outage. Cloudflare experts experienced a global network outage. Here's the latest update. So let's talk about it. What do we have here? Cloudflare reported that many of its services experienced a significant outage beginning about 10:20 Universal Time, November 18th. The outage was fully resolved at about 2:30 UTC time, according to Cloudflare's statement. The root cause, they say, oh, you're going to like this. This is what they blame. Cloudflare is blaming a configuration file that was automatically generated to manage threat traffic that grew beyond an expected size of entries and triggered a crash in the software system that handles traffic for a number of Cloudflare's services. Cloudflare explicitly stated, to be clear, there is no evidence that it was a result of an attack or caused by malicious activity. As a result of the failure, many popular services and platforms that are dependent on Cloudflare infrastructure experienced errors, downtime, or degraded service. And as you saw in the thumbnail, people have been posting on Facebook. They've been trying to log on to Coinbase, and they're getting these errors, error. Well, it's not just Coinbase. It was a multitude of sites. And that's what happens when you have a large chunk of the internet connected to one hosting platform that continues to make mistakes, whether or not they're making the mistakes or it's somebody else. I love how they're blaming it. The internet globally shut down because of a automatically generated configuration file. Maybe you should update your automatic systems there. Cloudflare is a major web infrastructure provider, CDN, DNS traffic routing. So failure of such a component causes a systematic ripple effect, you don't say. The fact that the outage was caused by an internal configuration, they say, traffic management fault rather than a direct cyber attack, underscores how fragile large digital infrastructures can be. Because the outage coincided with high-stakes political events, the timing added suspicion and narrative consequences beyond just tech disruption. So let's summarize this article from Newsweek. Let's see what Newsweek has to say. The Newsweek article reports that the Cloudflare outage occurred on the same morning that the U.S. House of Representatives was preparing to hold a vote on the Epstein Files, Transparency Act, which would release files related to Jeffrey Epstein's case. Because of that timing, conspiracy theories and speculation proliferated online, linking the outage to the vote. Some users suggested the web blackout was designed to disrupt access or media coverage of the vote and release. The article quotes specific social media posts. People are, leaving comments on, when are you going to release the files? You shut down the internet. I can't believe it. Cloudflare outage, same day as Epstein house vote. Coincidence? Question mark. Well, first of all, I get the conspiracy theory and I get the speculation. But what do you do if that was really the case? All it's going to do is delay it. It's just going to delay it a day or so. And maybe that extra day will give them what they need to do whatever they need to do to protect whoever they need to protect. I'm just thinking out loud here, like if it really was the reason, but most likely it was something else. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way. What about you? Leave your comments in the comment section. Very interesting timing to say the least. But this reminds me of and I'm going to upload, I'm going to do a podcast. This is live, by the way. So thank you all very much for being here. Much appreciated. We are live. Cybercomb says it happened yesterday too. Hey, Regis, how you doing? Poppy Gold says nerds rule the world. Nerds are pretty cool. Remember Revenge of the Nerds? That movie was lit. So anyway, let's get back into the news, the information here. So the article that we're looking at right here from Newsweek is describing how a lot of people speculated and about the Epstein files and the timing. But like I said, this could, if it was really the reason, all it's going to do is delay it. It's not going to stop it. The coincidence of timing, digital infrastructure failure, high stakes political vote is unusual and thus raises questions about whether they are related or purely timing. The article shows how tech outages can become part of a political narrative as well, especially around transparency and power. It documents how social media amplified the idea of purposeful internet blackouts, even though no evidence of attack was found. So what I thought, though, when I first saw the news about Cloudflare being down was I thought, oh, gee, we've got some malicious activity going on. I didn't think of the Epstein files, but clearly somebody did because of the timing. Interesting timing. I agree. But then Cloudflare comes out and says, oh, it was an automated problem on our fault. It was our fault. It wasn't mischievous. It wasn't, somebody, a hacker. It was just us by an automated response. And I find that really hard to believe as well. But basically, let's look at the combined takeaways here. A configuration file on Cloudflare's network allegedly overflowed or malfunctioned, causing widespread service disruptions. The political and narrative explanation, because this happened on the morning of a major vote on the Epstein files, many online users and commenters see a potential link, either as a disruption tactic or at least a suspicious coincidence. The truth could lie somewhere, like Cloudflare saying it was an internal fault, not an attack, maybe. But the convergence of tech failure, political movement creates fertile ground for conspiracy narrative. It is very interesting. But another thing that's really interesting is how fragile the internet really is, how easy it is to disrupt billions of dollars of products and services and businesses with just one alleged file. I think there's more to the story. Are we ever going to get the truth? Maybe, but it's going to be filled with a bunch of nonsense as well. I'd like to know when Cloudflare is going to publish details of the situation. That would be good to know. And will any government or regulatory body investigate the outage, given its high-profile nature and wide impact? Is there any evidence linking the outage to the vote beyond timing? Could services have been degraded in specific jurisdictions or for certain platforms? These are all good questions. Could there have been vulnerability exposure even if no attack is confirmed as a result of the failure? How will this outage affect trust in digital infrastructure among users, enterprises, and governments? Now, another thing I wanted to bring up is all of the personal records and personal data that has been stolen from different companies that are supposed to secure this information. It was either at the beginning of, I think it was at the end of last year, actually. So last year, one of the largest public records companies on the planet that has billions of files on hundreds of millions of people was hacked. That information was then taken to the dark web, and then that information has been distributed through a multitude of platforms. How many people get dozens of phone calls a day from solicitors trying to sell you something, or get emails saying that some company wants to partner with you and they don't even leave their credentials at the bottom? Like, I have been getting ridiculous emails from a multitude of emails of people claiming to be large businesses that want to partner with me. They're like, we love your work. We watch you on YouTube. We want to become partners. If you're interested, get back to us. And it's the same script every time, just a different business. They don't leave the phone number. They don't leave the website. They just leave their name at the bottom of the email. It's pretty ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. Oh, these comments are great. Some of these comments, they are rich. Brett says, no, satanic evil rules the world, not nerds. You know, I hate to say, you might be right. You might be right. Because if nerds ruled the world would be a lot cooler. What else we got here? So the initial spike, and this is from Tom's guide, the initial spike of reports appeared on Down Detector about 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, and that quickly subsided. The real problems kicked off around 8:30 a.m. and lasted until about noon Eastern. Affected platforms couldn't be properly accessed, similar to the recent AWS outage that saw multiple websites go down. This outage has caused problems with multiple sites across the internet. According to Cloudflare, it was investigating an issue which impacts multiple customers, widespread 500 errors, Cloudflare dashboard and API also failing. So if you saw errors while opening websites, you were not alone. Look at this one error that this guy got, Terry got when he was trying to log into Coinbase. Let me pull this up real quick and show this to you. Boom. Error. So Terry was trying to log on to Coinbase. And when he was trying to log on to Coinbase, this is what he got. Please unblock challenges.cloudflare.com to proceed. Ooh, it's the nothing. Yes, it's the nothing. That was a good film. Road Rage says he's not worried about it. He's in the woods. No internet BS here. Well, how the hell are you watching this, bro? And I would agree. We're all a part of this never-ending story. It's an amazing story. Let's make it as we go along. Let's continue to improve the script. Look at this. Zer says, my security is through them, and I got a ton of people trying to access my home servers during that time. What do you think that means, Zer Adavid? Like, what does that mean? That there were hackers trying to get into your home servers as the problems were going down? I'm just not understanding it. Please explain. Oh, hey, we've got somebody watching on Rumble. Thank you very much, Consumer, for commenting. Consumer says, connecting to the VPN will get you around it. Profit says Coinbase is back up. That's good. Road Rage is using Wi-Fi. And Zer says, yeah. Oh, we've got another comment from our Rumble page that says, reminds me of the cameras going down as they approached 3i Atlas. You know, the whole 3i Atlas thing, I'm fascinated with 3i Atlas. I think it's super cool. But we've done so much reporting on 3i Atlas and gotten so much information that the majority of the data that I'm looking at is suggesting it is literally the piece of a exploded planet that has been traveling through space so long that the radiation has basically burnt off all of the iron and we have nickel left, and it's traveling at ridiculous speeds. And I showed you footage that is allegedly from a top secret military program called Cassandra recently, where they filmed it behind the sun, and it doesn't look like a spaceship. But what is very interesting about 3i Atlas is the amount of activity and the amount of people that have been following it. Now we've got NASA, which still hasn't released the high-rise imaging. Guess when they're going to release that, by the way? Tomorrow. They should release it tomorrow. I'm going to live stream this event. So if you want to watch the live stream event where the data that NASA has not shown yet, they're going to release that tomorrow. I'm going to live stream that. It's going to be during the daytime. So check back tomorrow at about 10, 11 a.m. Mountain time, and we'll let you know about the stream. Hopefully we'll see the high-rise images. But that is really, I really appreciate how people like you, like me, like others that watch Leak Project, we're researching this and we're following the data. We're not stopping with the hype. We're not believing the hype. We're getting hyped up, but we're not falling for it. And I've noticed that people that watch Leak Project over the past several years, you guys and gals have really improved your thinking skills as well as I have. I mean, I think we've all grown together on this. We've debunked a lot of conspiracies and we've opened up a few can of worms along the way, and that's cool. So a quick says, I reset my router and it fixed it for me. Sharon says, BG did it. He was one of the original geeks, nerds after all. McAfee, you remember McAfee? I interviewed him. John McAfee, I did an interview with him while he was on a boat in the middle of the ocean somewhere, hiding. He did an interview with me, and that was so cool. That was so cool that he actually came on the show and talked to me. He also did an interview with my friend Diamond from the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. But that guy would probably know what's going on right now. That guy had some stories to tell. CrowdStrike 2.0 for the airport. Interesting to think about. Very interesting to think about. There have been several major outages that let's do a live action role play here for a minute. Let's do a LARP session here. Hybrid warfare tactics that are being used globally right now through various adversaries and allies, where there's drones flying over airports in Denmark and Belgium, which is referred to as hybrid warfare because they have to shut the airspace down. Drones flying over nuclear plants and military sites, gathering intel and then disappearing. We still don't have good footage of these drones. And it also reminds me of the drones that were spotted by Coast Guard and recorded by law enforcement at the end of last year. That footage was never released, where these drones were shooting out of the water, tracking a Coast Guard vessel, a multitude of these drones, and they shoot back into the water and take off. The news admits they've got video footage of that. We've never seen it. We haven't heard anything from it since. Let's just forget about it. And then the incident where the gentleman was he in a Tesla truck? Like some Delta Force guy that had a manifesto that the Tesla gets blown up, but they find the manifesto and the guy claims that they're working on like the drones that are being spotted are Chinese drones with anti-gravity type technologies. And that's why, and we've got the technology and they've got the technology, and he wanted to get that information out to the president. And then, could that be a psyop? Absolutely. It could be a psyop, but it could also be legit. Could you imagine, which is probably more likely the reality of the matter at certain levels with the military or defense contractors, that they are working on technologies that are sci-fi technologies, so advanced, we would call it alien technology. Well, I don't think it's aliens. And was it reverse engineered from alien technology at one point? Maybe. Maybe it was a breakaway civilization that traveled the stars but originated on Earth. And they managed to break away during the Younger Dryas event, where most people and civilizations had to start back from scratch because they had to hide in caves to survive, hence the story of cavemen. So much radiation is outside, they have to stay indoors during the day in these caves, and they can go out at night and hunt and gather. Meanwhile, there's this civilization that survived the cataclysm, took off, and then they're coming back. And then they created these like biological androids, which are referred to as grays, and they say they come from Zeta Reticuli. But do they really come from Zeta Reticuli? We have no freaking idea where these things come from. Do they exist? Yes, they exist. What are they? I don't know. But I've got very close friends and family that have been messed with. I was going to say abducted, but it's more to it than that. I mean, because sometimes they'll mess with you in your room. Like they don't even abduct you. They just do weird shit to you. And whatever these things are, certainly weird. But anyway, I'm talking about grays while we were starting off the podcast, talking about the internet outages here. So we're getting deep. We're getting deep. Anyway, so that is the latest with the global internet outage situation. And I would like to read your comments, what you think really happened to Cloudflare. And could this be some type of hybrid warfare tactic or some type of espionage tactics or something via adversary to see what happens on the global stage? Or do you think it happened to delay the files being released? Or do you think it was just an automated screw up by Cloudflare? Whatever the reason, it shows how easy it is to disrupt global interactions and global businesses, everything from Coinbase to Twitter or X, Facebook, a plethora of different platforms. Very, very interesting. Did China shoot out a Starlink satellite last week? That's a good question. I saw an article, something like that. Let me see. Did China shoot down a Starlink? I think it was something else. Yeah, it was a technology. So basically, China has technology now that outperforms Starlink for download speeds. They did an experiment where they had a satellite that was shooting down extremely fast data to the user, to the truck, I think is what it's referring to. But let's see what we've got here. Let's pull this up. No, China has not shot down a Starlink satellite. Reports and viral claims suggest this are false and stem from a recent Chinese experiment involving a low power laser for communication, not a weapon. Let me share it with you here real quick. July 2025, Chinese scientists announced a technological breakthrough where a satellite in geostationary orbit used a 2-watt laser to transmit data to Earth at a speed of 1 gigabyte per second, which is about 5 times faster than typical Starlink speeds. I was right. How about that? This was a data transmission test, and no Starlink satellites were targeted or damaged. While no actual attack has occurred, Chinese military scientists have published numerous research papers exploring potential methods to counter or destroy Starlink satellites in a future conflict. This is due to concerns that Starlink, which proved vital for communications in the Russia-Ukraine war, could be used by adversaries for military applications and intelligence gathering. Countermeasure strategies discussed in these papers have included developing hard kill weapons, equipping stealth submarines with space-firing lasers, and implementing supply chain sabotage and using custom-built attack satellites. However, these remain theoretical discussions and research proposals, not executed actions. No. Oh. Hey, Julie, how you doing? Good to see you. Drake, how the heck are you? Poppy Golden Sun, gotta love that. Stu. Michelle. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Really appreciate it. Angela, good to see you. I was looking for you. There she is. Thank you for hitting the like button, and thank you for subscribing. Des Moines, how the heck are you? Des Moines is actually a pretty cool city. It's turned into kind of a tech-savvy city, actually. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what businesses were affected by. What business? X. OpenAI, ChatGPT, Google Store, Perplexity, Gemini, Spotify, Letterboxd, League of Legends, Archive of our own, Amazon, DoorDash, Uber, Canva, Indeed, Zoom, IKEA. Down Detector was down, Bet365, Square, and NJ New Jersey Transit. All because an alleged configuration file grew beyond its expected size while managing threat traffic. The issue has been resolved and services are back to normal. Websites affected by the outage displayed an internal server error on Cloudflare's network message. Texas, what's up? Much love, everybody. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Have a beautiful day. Be excellent to each other. Be the change you want to see. And I'll see you here in a couple of hours because we have updates on HARP and HARP projects and HARP programs that are literally going on today until I think the 22nd of this month. So I'm going to share those projects with you. Nanny.